We've all had them in our classes, children with no sense of personal space. They're the ones who line up too closely to one another and who bump into everyone and everything. I even heard a story once about a young girl with so little understanding of her position in space, known as proprioception, that she tumbled onto the sidewalk when someone opened her car door. But even children without these issues need to learn to understand and respect personal space, their own and others. This is certainly the case if you want them to be able to travel safely around the classroom and the playground, and if you want to facilitate movement experiences that are chaos and accident free. But where do you start? By inviting the children to take part in movement experiences that are performed in one place. An activity called Inside My Bubble requires the children to stand on a carpet square, on a poly spot, or inside a plastic hoop. Hoops are a great visual reminder of personal space. Ask the children to imagine that they're each inside their own giant bubble and that they're holding a paintbrush. Then invite them to paint the inside of their bubbles without stepping off the carpet square or out of the hoop. You can tell them that what they're creating is their own personal space. This simple activity requires the children to consider the extent of the space immediately surrounding them. It has the added bonus of granting them ownership of that space because it's something they've created themselves. That means they'll be more likely to want to preserve it and that they'll be more inclined to respect the personal space of others. In other words, it gives them less incentive to crash and go boom. Once the children have painted their bubbles, present challenges such as the following. Show me how low you can get inside your bubble. Stay very low and move your arms all around your bubble. Show me how high up you can get while staying inside your bubble. Find a way to get very high with your feet still on the floor. Now find a way with your feet coming off the floor. Move your body so it's between very high and very low. Now move your arms in as many ways as possible all around your body. Move your feet so they're far apart but still inside your bubble. Show me how wide you can make your whole body while still inside your bubble. Exploring up and down is another activity that helps children determine their personal space. For an initial exploration of the levels in space, pose these questions and movement challenges. Do you know what up and down mean? Show me with your body. Show me you can make your body go all the way down. Now all the way up. How high up can you get? Show me you can go down halfway. Make yourself so tiny I can hardly see you. Show me you can become as huge as a giant. Now pretend your feet are glued to the floor. Show me you can move your body up and down without moving those feet. Of course, non-locomotor skills are by definition movements performed in place while standing, kneeling, sitting, or lying. And although they typically receive less attention than locomotor or traveling skills, for those of you old enough to know what I'm talking about, they're like the Rodney Dangerfield of motor skills. They're still worthy of practice and instruction, and they provide lots of experience with personal space. The non-locomotor skills presented here in a general developmental progression are bending, stretching, shaking, turning, rocking and swaying, rocking being the more forceful of the two, with the feet often coming up off the floor, swinging, twisting, and dodging. Not surprisingly, I recommend that you spend lots of time on bending and stretching, offering the children plenty of repetition before moving on to the next two. And if you're working with preschool children, there's no need to even worry about getting to the last 3 or 4. Exploration of stretching aligns perfectly with the children's exploration of their personal space. And as they stretch toward the ceiling, forward, backward, and to the side, while standing, kneeling, sitting, and lying, they discover the boundaries of their personal space. To explore bending, invite the children to stand and experiment with bending forward, backward, and to both sides. Then issue the following challenges. Touch your knees and straighten. Touch your toes and then straighten up very slowly. Touch your toes and straighten up only halfway. Touch your knees and straighten quickly. To extend the activity, ask the children to experiment with bending the waist, arms, and legs while kneeling, crouching, sitting, and lying on their back, stomach, and side. Bending and stretching, of course, are natural partners. To explore both and to incorporate imagery into the experience, invite the children to do the following. Stretch as though picking fruit from a tall tree. Flop like you're a rag doll. Stretch as though you're waking up and yawning. Bend over as though tying your shoes. Stretch to put something on a high shelf. Bend to pat a dog and then a cat. Stretch to shoot a basketball through a hoop. Bend to pick flowers or veggies from the garden. Stretch to pluck a star from the sky. And let's not forget about a body part activity like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, which not only requires the children to move their hands from the top to the bottom of their body, but also offers additional experience with the various levels of one's personal space, high, middle, and low. Naturally, it's more difficult to help children understand that they maintain their personal space while traveling through the classroom or playground area. But you can help make the concept less abstract by giving each child a hoop to hold around the waist as they move, like the little boy in the title slide. The hoop serves as a physical manifestation of their personal space. In the absence of hoops, you can ask the children to move with their arms extended to the sides. You just need to remind them that they're not to get close enough for their hoops or hands to touch. Of course, children do love to crash and go boom, so it can be helpful to remind them that even though cars on a highway move together, they never get close enough to touch. The goal is for them to move in a similar way. When the children have had plenty of experience with this kind of activity and can demonstrate that they understand and respect the personal space of their classmates, you can play a game called Shrinking Room. The children are once again invited to move with hoops around their waist or hands out to their sides, but this time you act as a movable wall by standing with your own arms out to your sides. Begin at one end of the room, allowing the children the greatest amount of space in which to move. Then every couple of minutes, take a step or two forward, thereby shrinking the space available. Despite the increasingly limited space, the goal is for the children to continue to move without touching anyone else's hoop. Always stop when the children are still able to experience success. And there you have it. Activities like these will help avoid injury while also creating a more peaceful environment. And because the research has shown that children with no sense of personal space write in a similar manner, with their letters falling one over the other, these activities will also foster the children's writing skills. Thanks for joining me, and if you found this video helpful, please do subscribe to the series.